Hello, welcome to this video. Thank you so much for joining me for a tarot reading for the month of February. Um, if you are not new to my channel and you've joined me after my Friday reading for Saints and Angels deck, thank you. And you're already well aware of what this reading is all about and what my intentions are behind it. But just for people in case they are new or if they didn't see this Friday's video yet, I am creating this Friday wrap-up sort of, excuse me, sort of reading to ask our guides or spirits, our ancestors, the Ascended Masters, you know, the tarot, using our inner gnosis through divination to reflect on February, on the monthly lesson, which was the card from the major arcana, the lovers, and so I'd like to ask the cards to, in their own words and guidance, to tell us what they think that we incorporated from the lesson and what the major angle of that lesson has been, also what we've struggled with, or what maybe might be lingering or still kind of needs to be looked at, will be the second card. And then the third card will be things from the past that will carry in to March, that we should be aware of and we should be on the lookout for, and we should be sort of trying to wrap up to bring in through March, right? And then the fourth card, the final card, will be about what the future holds for us, how we have moved through or are able to move through, or what we should look at while moving through um, the end of the month and into March, obviously. So I like to usually give a bit of background for each card, sort of like spread locations, just to give guidance before I show the cards. And so everybody can kind of be on the same page about what the card, what angle to interpret the card in, right? Because I mean, it's so general. It's, so definition to me is always a good thing. So I'm trying something new with this setup. I really hope it's going to record good. I hope it's going to look good. But I am like a Zoom newbie. So just so you know, everyone is well aware. I don't, this is going to be a learning curve kind of thing. So bear with me. So yeah, let's get started on the reading. I'm going to take out my deck here. Just do some shuffling. Set the intention like I talked about. Reflecting on the theme for the month. That card of the lovers. Asking our beautiful deck here, how they feel we've interpreted those messages, and if we've left anything out perhaps, or what we could have done better, or maybe what we did great, even how, it could be the awesome things that we've done with it, right? So trying to decide. The cards are kind of jumpy. Sometimes I like to read, and I'll just say this for anybody who's interested in learning tarot and divination for themselves. Sometimes when I do readings, I like to do a fan, spread across, and choose the cards. That was my initial way of learning and doing in divination, and choosing cards and doing readings. I found great working in that, but also sometimes the cards are really jumpy, and you can tell, that they want to have something to say. But perhaps I will fan them, and give them a choice of 4. And I'll just read them in a row here. Oh, 2 came out together. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have a 5th. Okay. I'm embodying the number 5. We'll change it up. We'll incorporate disruptions and veer off from the plan a little and incorporate this 5th card. I'm going to leave that out till the end. We'll look at that after we look at the cards, okay? So the first card, remember, is our present, how we've incorporated the messages for February. And then we're going to have the second card here, which is going to cross. This is going to tell us about things like, that we need to do better, or we are having trouble working through, or things that are clinging, that are difficult, problems that could be faced, right? And then we have the third card, which is going to be things lingering from the past that will need to still be closed up and moved through. Um, or things that will be difficult to pull through. And then our final card here, the fourth card, will be how we move into the future, what the future is entailing for us, things that we can gear ourselves for. Okay, so let's look at the cards here. Wow, wow. Very interesting. I read reversals. I'm not sure. Some people don't like to read reversals. I do. I really appreciate how tarot speaks through reversals. And for me personally, I know everybody speaks with the cards differently and interprets things differently. And I know there are kind of specific sometimes. I forgot to take my notebook out as well. I know it's missing something. There are specific meanings sometimes to reversal cards. Say if you go with the Rider Waite deck and you look through the meanings, or if you have any other tarot books, sometimes reversals hold specific meanings that are different. And sometimes I honor those, and I have my notes here, and I have my notebook, and I will give people, just as a learning tip too. I have pages and pages of interpretations of cards over time, and little edits and things that I've resonated with, or new understandings within a card that I keep in here. And then I also always keep usually a running kind of thing of the readings. I like to keep notes on my readings so that I can go back at them and check them out, and remember what the card said, the date was, what the intention was, and that kind of thing. So don't mind me if you see me a little bit looking down and kind of doodling over here as well while I'm talking. That's kind of what I'm just doing really quickly as well. And I just am adding in here that number 5. So these cards are very interesting. And back to reversals, for me personally, when I see reversals, I generally look at the card at the upright, the classic meaning of it, and I see it as guidance or warnings, heeding us to know that we need to pay attention to the real theme of that card. And we're going to need to really work to embody that. And we're going to really need to work at, and we might struggle through um, that energy that it reflects. But by doing so is the action that we need to do. We need to tap into that in that period, because that will get us through. That will bring positive solutions. That will create movement. That's the keys to kind of the upright moving through in a positive way, right? Yeah, you can focus on the negative. You can look at it reflecting all negative aspects and look at it really reversed and just say, oh, it's, bad. And it's gonna be a hard time or something like that. And yeah, there's a flavoring of that there. So be mindful of that as well. But what I really love to see is the silver lining, and that in reversals, tarot's telling us very directly that there's work to be done, and here's what you need to do, and they give great outlines. So it's like them handing you the keys to success, basically, when something comes up reversed. When we say things upright, it's like, okay, here's what you're doing great, here's what you are. Like, we have our first card here, upright, King of Rods. Wow, we are living in our passions. We are, full on embodying what it means to be that beautiful sovereign king, the overseer, the protector, the knower, the one who's done the hard work, who's made it up the whole ladder in the rods, right, of passions, of magic, of all of the things that you could incorporate and use as your power, as your sovereign power. It's letting us know that I feel that we've been doing this really well all month. And we've been incorporating the message of the lovers, using it as being a strong, positive, divine, masculine, feminine, masculine, sacred, masculine. Oh my goodness. Sacred masculine energy. We've been embodying that really well and using that, right? Because we have to remember, this is a reflection about the Lovers card, of our whole theme of February, how we've been doing the work and everything, right? So we are definitely embodying, right? This King of Rods energy. That's awesome. Now we look to the second card here and we see the Six of Pentacles. And the Six of Pentacles, right, is perseverance. It's learning through trials and tribulations of how to do the physicalities, how to do the material counting, the work, the accounting, right? The finances, the logistics of things, the real material points of how things get done. It's coming together, it's a focus, it's something that, perhaps we're struggling through, or perhaps you're doing really well. I love to read this secondary card sideways and leave it sideways, because it's up to you as you're listening to the reading and incorporating messages, whether you feel like, oh, it's a reversal for me and I need to really be reminded of that kind of perseverance, six energy for my money, for my life, physical lessons, for my finances, or my what I do with my job and stuff like that, right? Like how you make your way in the world. Whether they're letting you know, great job, you did a lot of great work on that, or that's been a focus for you, or whether you struggled with that, um, for that energy, for the month. But that's such a great, whatever it is, it's a beautiful lesson, because um, it's one of understanding that you have overcome the harder bits, and tapping into that knowledge of how to work and problem solve through things, how to make money stretch, how to pay bills and make it through, or how to make your job work. If you have a whole business and you're looking at all of the different moving parts of it, maybe, allowing those things to work together seamlessly, learning from the mistakes and stuff like that. That's all about that. This is what the second energy is about here. The Pentacles, six. Now, when we look to our third card, right, and this is things that are lingering. This is things from the past, or from, January, February, that we haven't, are going to be like really hard for us to move through or to pull through. And the Emperor is, it's so interesting to have this very opposing masculine energy, right? Of the King of Rods standing upright as being our number one reflection in our focus for the whole reading, the angle of what they want to talk about. And now for them to let us know about that Emperor energy, and the balance of ego, how to use your strength. How do you rule? Are you using that divine, sacred, masculine energy of the overseer and the observer in a way because you're loving everything that you're watching? Or are you using it in that more imperialistic tyrant flavoring, where you're micromanaging and you're watching for critiques, you're watching to manage, um, those different energies and the different alignments, are very prevalent with the Emperor card, the energy that comes along with the Emperor, right? Because the Emperor it's a tightrope kind of energy to walk, and here we have the reversal. So the cards really want us to be mindful of how we're walking the walk, and are we really getting into the nitty gritty of um, the power of it, the emotions that come along with it, the energy, alchemy, and exchanges that happen and that are required for us when we are embodying the Emperor. So maybe, reflecting on your own masculine energy, how you've worked through February, how you're working through these relationships, trying to really incorporate and remember that great overarching umbrella theme of the Lovers, right? Remembering love, compassion for others, seeing people through the eyes of a lover, who's somebody who loves them, right? Um, Perhaps tapping into that kind of energy is a great reminder, um, to let go of some of these harder spots, right? And I do want to just look at my old notes real quick to see if I have any lingering updates about the Emperor reversed, kind of. Yeah, oh yeah, quick reminders of what you're building. especially with reversals. You know, what kind of energy are you using to build creations in that creational space as well? Communications with others, what kind of parameters and social etiquette or, you know, expectations are you presenting and setting upon others when you have conversations with them, when you're moving through all of these different little spaces that reality bubbles we create with people and interactions. You know, being very mindful of that, being very mindful of your physical creations too, and your dreams and your thoughts and how you're manifesting things into reality, right? That's another very key point in the Emperor energy. Okay, so now for our final moving forward card, and into March we have Death reversed, and I think that's just such a perfect card because if you did watch my Friday card for Saints and Angels, I don't want to spoil it if you didn't watch it, but um, it has a theme of retreating, of pausing, of going somewhere else, of getting away from life, the current reality bubble that you're structured within, the current setting and mode you're on, and taking a break and going away and self-care. And beforehand, in the grounding that I was doing, and just, you know, connecting with for myself, and the energy that I've been kind of living within right now has been this really kind of renewal, reset kind of energy. um, and yeah, it comes with the new year and all of this too, and the spring is starting to poke its head around once in a while and be reminded of that refreshing, renewing energy, you know. Especially um, with that theme again of the lovers, right? Seeing things in a positive view for new, right? Seeing the positive potential, seeing them for what they can be, the best. When we look at things through the lens of a lover, we want the best for them. We see the best that they can be. We see all the potentials and the affinities, right? And we tend to kind of soften out and glaze over and accept more with unconditional love, those faults, those problems, you know. Um, so yeah, moving through now, what we need to and what we should be focusing on is the change, the cut, the renewal, the have the pause in the cycle, but we need to come at it in the future and towards to to get more future focused, right? We need to cut the ties of the past. We need to know and go into this like a death, like the end, a wrapping up, a conclusion, your ceremony of the end of this time of your life, this period of the year, this period of seasons, you know, all of it at once and different at its own levels, you know, and explore those levels for yourself. And you'll find um, you know, those intricate messages that the cards want for you to hear, you know, and what those points for you, those cutoffs, those um, pausings, the time for reflection, right? The inward um, knowing and reconnection to that recycling, that renewal um, that we all go through. And that's always available to us. And it, yeah, it has a scary quality to it. And I really appreciate this card so much for tarot too, because so many people get, oh my gosh, and they think it's like the, and it, you know, they think it's death and they think it's the end, or that something, you know, it's, and divination is beautiful and interpretations are, you know, full spectrum. It's a free will universe. So, you know, we're free to incorporate the understanding of death, you know, and perhaps some people who are reading this might even interpret it as death coming or deaths to certain ways of life or cultures or things crumbling, different um, systems dying and different external things dying, you know. That's a reflection and that's a possibility as well. The card isn't upright, so I wouldn't say that they're like telling us that these things are dying off. The card's reversed, and so again, in my opinion, this is something that has to do with we need to incorporate the energies. We need to accept those that come with death. We need to accept the rebirth renewal cycle. Um, and that's something in order to move through easier into the future, it will really help us to understand that, to be prepared for it, to really, like I said, kind of smooth out, sand down those rough triggered edges that you might have around death personally. Um, and sorry, getting my little reminder from Zoom that I have to wrap it up. um, but yeah, so keep those things in mind, and hopefully they spark some workings for you to move forward into March with, to be able to refresh and cut ties and reflect on that. Um, oh, sorry. So I'm going to flip the final card here and see what our fifth card was, our final message here. The Nine of Rods, and it is reversed. Interesting. Interesting. The rods theme to me is very interesting, and I just love it. Passions and having that fire, that magic about you, tapping into that energy work, that the flow and the feeling of life, the spirit of life, like being able to hold your weight and cast your rod or your wand, um, or to hold it, and the nine energy, I'm just loving. I absolutely have been developing so much more this deeper understanding of the nine and the uh, setting of sacred boundaries, that completionary mark that sets something as it is. It sets completion. It marks the ending of something, and a lot of times nine gets shown as completion. A lot of people call it that, or a lot of people call it the ending or wrapping up. um, and yes, it is, but I love this new sort of deeper understanding I'm getting about nine being a membrane, or being the sacred boundary, or being that holder, that the clear glass on the snow globe that allows that beautiful snow globe to be the picturesque inside of it, the whole workings in there that happens within that little snowy town. And the five, that's the, shake up that's allowed within it all. The nine is like that beautiful, almost invisible boundary. Um, and they're multifaceted, they're multi-layered. We create them all the time. We walk through them, we permeate them, we allow things into ours, depending on our cognitive space of awareness and our protection and stuff. And so the nine, especially where it's reversed here, is going to be all about that, setting your own sacred boundaries, being, and it's reversed. So listen, this is things that we might struggle with. This is areas that we really need to work on, that we need to focus to be able to move through. It's strong and sovereign and respected, and to hold ourselves in a place of sovereign respect, because the nine in rods, right, is all about that internal energy, that fire inside you, that passion that burns in the sacral chakra, your inner real oomph, that personal little cookie cutter shape, that's you, that gets the point. um, that's all reflected in the rods. And when we talk about nine and the boundary of it, that's setting you, and also you minding your own boundaries and how you work through them. And that's an infinite practice of its own. This is such a beautiful message. I feel it speaks for itself if you speak tarot, but if you don't, I hope that I have really given us great things to think about. And so I have about 5 minutes to just quickly wrap up. So I'm going to try to just go through a wrap up of all the cards for the messaging, just to sum it for everyone. So for the month of February, we're thinking about, and we were asking and intentionally here at the cards, about how we worked through February, how we incorporated the messages. Did we live in the theme of the lovers? How did we incorporate the energy? And we got beautiful answer here for card, the King of Rods. Oh, mind, I'm terrible at this. The King of Rods card here, just letting us know where we are. We're the king of our domain this month. We worked it. I'm hearing you say, you saw, you came, you conquered, that Vini Vini Vici kind of thing, energy, right? And then for what we're working on, what might have struggled for us, or what might have been great for us. Oops, I'm going with this here. Let's do it this way. I can see much better. We had the Six of Pentacles, open for interpretation for you. How did you move through the month? They'd like you to be mindful of that energy, that physical accounting, the logistics, the business minded aspect of it. Perhaps you struggled through it. You must have learned lots of lessons around it. I know I did. I know this is super relevant for me, and the little obstacles, catalysts, and opportunities and possibilities that even have erupted through February for me retain about money and the perseverance through, and about being rewarded for making it through the tough times of a five, right? That beautiful six energy. I felt it definitely. I struggled with it through the month, but then it came by the end of the month now here. I'm like seeing the lessons I learned and seeing the struggle that I went through, very beautifully. And then we have here for the third card, we had the Emperor card reversed, letting us know and asking us to be mindful of how we use that masculine energy, how we moved through the month. Did we dominate or did we nurture? Were we a beautiful father of caring, children that we love each thing individually and we really watch over with this great nurturing, protectionary kind of energy where you really watching because you're appreciating, or were you more of a tyrant, watching to critique, watching for micromanaging purposes of control, and altercations and alterations as well. And then our fourth card, moving forward, what into March is death, death reversed, letting us know, we need to take a look at it. We need to be able to approach it. We've got to get sand those rough edges down and look with new eyes at this cycling and know that we go through it on many different ways, many levels all the time. And it's nothing to be scared of. You've done it infinite times already. So accept it, work to bring that upright, work to be mindful of those strong internal messages that come through this concept of death and dying, of moving on and moving forward. Underlying unconditional love is our theme. Remember that. The Lover's card, and those that we love are always with us, and unconditional love of Source and God and all our ancestors and sacred beings and masters of before us, all these, benevolent beings, all the wonderful other aspects of, ascension are proof, that it is something, it is a recycling, it is a growth upwards. So be mindful of that, keep it in mind. And finally, our last card, overarching final theme that the cards really felt so called they had to pop this one out as a fifth card for us, the Nine of Rods, reversed again. So please remember and keep mindful of the theme of the Nine of Rods, and make it a point of your compass internally to do seeking towards and some rumination on an examination of it. You'll find great clarity and comfort. You'll find a great way forward through March in preparation for what's coming. So thank you so much for joining me for this beautiful reading. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll check me out next time. And yeah, feel free to find me on Telegram, Spotify, YouTube, BitChute, A. Marie Speaks, or send me an email, of course. And I hope you have a beautiful day or evening wherever in the world you are. I'll talk to you soon.